Welcome to episode 52 of the Wilderness Podcast. I am your host, Dilz, and with me as always is my co-host, Deagin.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. How's it going over there with you?
Not too bad. Can't really complain. I was kind of sick this week, but I've gotten over it.
Oh, a little bit of complaints. Okay, not bad.
Yeah.
It's a good start. So, anything interesting happen with you?
Not really. Just like a bunch of schoolwork. Haven't played RS yet. Still waiting for my buddy to finish raids, but I'm gonna just start doing Slayer or something because I want to play. I just kind of keep saying to myself, "Oh, I'll wait for him."
Fair enough.
And then I started playing Divinity: Original Sin 2.
Okay, one of these I've never fucking heard
So
of.
it's an early access survival. I'm going to keep making this joke. I'm always going to make this joke. Don't set me up for this. I'm always going to make the joke.
Okay.
No, okay, so I honestly think you and your girlfriend would love this game. Seriously recommend it.
We don't like anything. I don't know why you say this, but okay.
Okay, yeah, that's true. But usually, I think it's a couch co-op. I'm pretty sure the first one was. So you can play, on your PS4 with your girlfriend if you want, I think. If not, she'd probably just enjoy watching it. But it's an RPG and people compare it to like D&D. So pretty diverse dialogue. There's a lot of open quests and stuff, like little side quests that actually affect the game and the way you interact with certain people. And there's the whole, you kind of build your character similar to D&D. It's not the exact same, but it's pretty similar in terms of, stat attributes. They have, perks, I guess. They have, so it's, the same type of thing, right? You can create your character, and they also have, special characters. So there's, the Red Prince. So he's, a lizard, but he's, he's the prince of the lizards, I guess. And, so, from what I remember of, this Red Prince guy, it would be, he was supposed to be the king eventually, and then some shit happened, and now he's kind of on the run.
All right.
It's similar to Game of Thrones, I guess. I'm not super caught up in Game of Thrones, but in terms of the Targaryens on how the prince/princess, on the run from. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Whoa! Spoilers!
Yeah, spoilers from the first 5 minutes of the show. My bad, but I don't know. It's really cool. You can create your own custom character that doesn't have any super lore based background, and I don't know. It's super fun. Me and my buddy bought it 2 weeks ago, and we're all right, we're gonna set 5-6 hours this weekend, and we both of us hadn't played it, the second one, and we haven't looked into it, so we kind of go in blind, and so we just kind of made some characters we thought were cool, and now we're going through it slowly, but we're both pretty busy with school and shit, so.
Yeah,
but it's so much fun because if you can get into you don't have to role play and shit. You don't have to. You can just go Skyrim mode and just pickpocket people and do stealth if you want. But it's really open and diverse, and it's turn-based combat. I really should mention that. But it's good. I don't know. It's so much fun. I really want to keep playing it, but I don't want to continue without them. It's a sweet game. You should honestly look it up. I think everyone should kind of check it out. It's really cool. It's it's a good game. Other than that, Dota, and yeah, that's enough about me. What about you?
Me, we'll skip over the real life stuff because that shit's boring, man.
Mm-hmm.
It fails into comparison into the RuneScape life.
Yep, that's why we play it. Escape real life.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I was talking about how we're selling our house, so that's finally pretty much all taken care of. We're going to be moving next month into a new place.
Nice.
I guess so. I'm kind of tired of moving. It feels like every year I've been moving into a new apartment or a new, house or whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But hey, what can you do? That's life. So that's happening. Hopefully get settled in. Who knows? Maybe the house will work out where I can get my own little podcast studio. Oh man. Yeah. Could you imagine?
Be pretty dope. The quality would just go through the roof.
Oh man.
Gotta have one of those Mixer Studio-esque looking things with the soundproof glass. You know what I mean?
How much money is that gonna cost?
I don't know, but you place it right in the kitchen. Whatever most inconveniences everyone else.
In the bathroom?
Yeah.
It's not too bad. But let's see. as far as RuneScape goes, I feel like I've been playing quite a bit. You know, although that consists of a lot of Slayer, a lot of just grinding that out. I'm getting close to 89 Slayer.
Nice.
Getting close to 91 attack. I should have had it today, but I got caught up doing some other things in RuneScape.
Such as?
I got the Abbey Demons as a Slayer task, and I've been getting that quite a bit recently. And for some reason, I kind of thought that, correct me if I'm wrong, but with Cerberus, you need a certain Slayer level to kill that, right?
Yep.
Do you know what level it is?
92 or 93.
Okay, so I thought the Abyssal Sire was kind of similar to the Cerberus, because if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering correctly, they were both released around the same time. If not at the same time. I'm pretty sure it was at the same time.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
I think so.
A couple years ago, Jagex was talking about releasing some Slayer bosses, and people got all hyped up for that.
Yeah, sorry, Cerberus is 91 Slayer.
91 Slayer. Okay, so I thought maybe the Abyssal Sire was something similar, but I decided to check, and it's not. It's kind of just 85 with your Abbey Demons. So I was like, hey, shit, I should try to do this. And I went there and killed a bit of them. Well, I should say at first it was mostly attempts because
that's the process, learning a new boss. Usually what you go through.
Basically, and I mentioned before how I kind of had fun going into the Dagginoff Kings, not completely blind, but maybe I read up a little equipment guide and a few things to look out for, but I didn't really watch a guide on how the fight works. And then I jumped in, I ended up dying like 3 times in a row, which was a pain in the ass. And then I kind of figured it out, and it became kind of a lot more fun. And then I also mentioned that when I got my Sears ring, I was super hyped over that, which was weird because Sears ring isn't really worth that much. But it was really satisfying to get that. So I figured I'd do the same thing with the Abyssal Sire, and fuck, when I was first starting that fight, no, have you done that fight yet?
No.
Okay, so I'm not gonna. Well, I'll just explain my initial opinion of it, but it felt like every time I fought the boss, it was a different fight because he has a few spells that it almost seems like you're really hoping RNGesus is on your side on whether or not he's gonna cast it on you. All right. So there's a bunch of times where I'd get in there and I would like die the first time, and then I'd go back, and then I would basically plow through him and almost kill him, and then maybe I die because there's some hidden mechanic I wasn't aware of, and then going for a third time and then die off the bat again, going for a fourth time, and then I'd be able to kill him without using that much food. I was kind of confused on what the hell was going on, but so I decided to actually look up what the fuck the mechanics are. Yeah, I'll quickly go through it. It was actually kind of a fun boss. It's a solo boss. You're not meant to go in there with the party. It's connected off the Abyssal Rift. What's the rune crafting Abyssal rune crafting place called? Do you know?
The Abyss.
Just the Abyss?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So you go in there, and there's like a little shortcut or a little hole in the wall you can jump through. And you're kind of in this area that has these 4 different hallways spreading at one going northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast kind of deal. And it just turns out that each one leads to its own Abyssal Sire, just so that, like, I guess when the boss first came out, obviously when a boss first comes out, there's going to be a shit ton of people doing it. And to prevent people getting crashed all the time, or from, like, maybe one person just being able to farm the boss on each world, which kind of happens with other bosses anyways, but they added 4 of the bosses, 4 different rooms, so that multiple people could do it at once. Now, when I was doing it, I never had the problem of ever really seeing anyone else, doing it, because there's an area you can peek to see if there's anyone fighting it, and I didn't see anyone else doing it. So I don't know if the boss is kind of not dead content, but like if not many people are doing it. Because I'd imagine.
I just think a lot of it is you have to be on a task and be aware of the sire and be willing to do it.
Now, I don't know I don't think you need to be on a task. Do you know?
So, from my understanding with Slayer bosses is you have to be on task to be able to attack them, and that's why they usually give good stuff. Yeah, so
I didn't see any barriers itself preventing you from going there if you're not on a Slayer task. You know what I mean?
Well, usually it'll be like an entrance thing. Like with Cerberus, it's like a wall of fire. Like a little flamey thing, and if you don't have a task, or maybe you go through, but you can't attack them if you're not on task, something like that. Well, it says on the wiki that you need 85 Slayer to kill, in addition to having assigned Abyssal Demons or the Sire itself.
Oh, yeah. You're right. You're right.
I think that's just how, because the Slayer bosses give really good rewards, and like Kraken and Cerberus, I don't know about Sire, I've never done it, but you can, and Thermo, you can get like a good amount of kills per trip, and they can give good drops. So I think that's the way they kind of make it, fair, is making it so you have to be on task.
Okay, that does make sense. Okay, so for me, just going in there, there's a fairy ring that brings you right into the area where the 4 hallways are. And I know a few times when you'll get a clue scroll, the new clue scrolls they released with, I think it was Master Clues, where it's like fairy ring, DKP, and then it tells you walk 1 step north, 2 west, whatever it is, right? And then dig. I know a few times you'll get teleported to the place where the Abyssal Sire hallways kind of are, and you're able to do that without a Slayer task, right?
So it might be just to hit them, to like actually kill them. You have to be on task.
Fair enough. So, okay. Anyways, when you walk down the hallway, though, you'll see the basically Abyssal Sire sitting on his like throne area, and then in the 4 corners, basically of where the Abyssal Sire is, there's these things called the what's it called?
The respiratory system.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. There's 4 respiratory systems and they heal the Sire, right? Is that what you're talking about? These like,
I believe so. Yeah. Or okay. So yeah. Sorry. Yeah. They're the respiratory systems. I couldn't think of the name. I was getting stumped there. But what I was doing is I'd bring almost my full mage outfit, and then on the side I'd bring like a full melee outfit with like your arc light if you have it and you have enough charges, because it gives you additional damage and stuff against demons, and the Abyssal Sire obviously counts as one. So, and then with your mage gear, I bring the staff, the Trident of the Swamps, as well as some ancient magics. You bring some blood barrages, as well as the Shadow Barrage, I believe it's called, because he's got this kind of interesting mechanic where, like, a lot of people don't really use the Shadow Barrage, as well as like the Smoke Barrage. Those are like, or the smoke spells and the shadow spells in general with the ancient magics. It just seems to be like the. Do you even know if they exist?
I know they exist. I just don't know why I would ever use them. Like, I know Blood Barrage can heal, Ice Barrage freezes.
Yeah, and then so what Shadow Barrage does is it kind of lowers their accuracy or lowers their attack percent. So Barrage would bring it it lower their attack level by 15%, and then Smoke, I believe, poisons them, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the Smoke Barrage and the Smoke spells kind of poison. The problem is the Smoke Barrage starts the poison at 4. So if you have a DDS, like Dragon Dagger with the Super Poison, which is basically every Dragon Dagger, it already does more damage because that starts off at 6.
Yeah.
But, so when you start the fight, which you start off with using your trident against him, and then he kind of sits up a bit, and there's these tentacles that kind of spawn. They don't spawn, but they kind of wake up, and they'll just slap you around and shit, unless you use your Shadow Barrage on him, or any shadow spell, but the Shadow Barrage gives you like 100% chance of him. Basically, it puts the tentacles to sleep for a limited amount of time, which gives you free roam to go around and attack the vent system, or the respiratory system, which is, there's like four vents or whatever you want to call them in the room. You just kill them real quickly. If you're doing it fast enough, you can kill 2 at a time before the tentacles wake up.
Yeah.
And then you have to put them back to sleep and shit. But yeah, you do that, and then he basically comes off his throne, and then you basically equip your melee attack, your melee armor, and you just attack him with that. And yeah, you get him down to like 50% health or something, and he'll go into the middle of the room. He does this like orb animation where he starts healing himself like 1 or 2% every second or something. I remember reading it thinking it was a lot, but I was able to out damage it every time.
Yeah.
And while this is going on, he's also spawning these little guys that are going to be attacking you, and you can use them to heal yourself with the blood barrage. But again, I was pretty shit, so I wasn't actually doing that. That was just too much going on for me to have to worry about that. So I was just straight attacking him. And then he'll do this thing where he teleports you. When he teleports you, he'll teleport you right in front of where he is, and then a couple seconds later, he'll just hit you for a shit ton of damage. Like, he'll hit a 50 or something, which can combo you out. So while this is all going on, the tentacles are back up, and they're kind of whipping you while this is going on. I never thought to actually Shadow Barrage them to put them back to sleep. But if you're able to stand in the middle of the room, the tentacles can actually hit you. Right? They just can't reach you, so they're not doing any damage to you. Now, the only problem is every now and then, he does these, like, poison... He spawns this little thing on the ground it looks like a poison bubble almost, and it's going to start doing a lot of damage to you, like, every second. Like, it's going to do, like, 16 damage, 20 damage every second. And you have to step out of that. And the problem is, it's like, he's spawning them fairly quickly. So, when I was going in blind, I'd move off of one, go to attack him, and another one would spawn right underneath me. And then I'm basically not ever able to attack him, and then I would just die. That's what was happening to me a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I was saying it felt like it was RNG, because I couldn't figure out why, but there's a few times where I felt I wasn't getting hit, or maybe they just weren't spawning underneath me, and I was able to not get hit by the poison, in which case I could just, damage him pretty easily. After looking this up, it turns out that once he goes into the middle of the room, the idea is to do a melee attack and then go 2 tiles beside where you were standing, because he's going to spawn exactly where you're standing, the poison bubble. So if you move 2 tiles, it'll spawn to where you just were. Then you do 1 hit, and then you walk back to where you previously were, because then that poison bubble will be gone, and there'll be another poison bubble where you were just standing. So you're able to dodge them going back and forth, getting a hit in between.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do it like that, it actually becomes quite a bit easier. Yeah, you kind of just do that until he's dead. It was a pretty fun fight, but at the same time, very frustrating when I had no idea why these poison spawns were spawning underneath me and killing me every time.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was RNG, and I could not figure out why they kept spawning. Like, I was just like, fuck, am I just getting unlucky and he's just massing them on me? But looking it up, it just turns out that it's kind of like part of the system, you know what I mean? Part of the mechanics is it's going to spawn it like every second.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was doing that for a bit. I didn't do like a shit ton of them. That's why this, like, I'm not like giving you guys a guide right now. I'm just giving you like my rough opinion and what I can remember of the fight, because I did it for a bit. And then I kind of just like, all right, I'm either too tired or I've wasted like 3 hours getting 2 kills. Yeah. So I'm just going to go and do like Abbey Demons or something. Because I really want to get my attack up. I really want to get my I just want to get my combat up. I'm kind of excited for these new updates that are going to be coming out this year. And I want to be ready for when they do come out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I feel you. A lot of good PVM content unlocks once you like get the 90 threshold plus.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty close. But that fight in itself was pretty fun. It's just like, yeah, no, I just need to get better at it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's a bunch of things you can do different that could help you. Like when you're getting damaged, there's things you can walk underneath the sire, use blood barrage, and heal off the little minions he's spawning, and then you can heal yourself off them. My problem is every time I try to do that, I would get overwhelmed, and then I would just die from the little guys because
yeah, a lot of it is just there's a lot of growing pains when you learn like a new boss. Like it took me like 100 kills maybe of Cerberus to be like, all right, I'm pretty confident if I don't lag out, like I won't die.
Yeah.
And like I used to do things like if he did his like Aru where he would like summon these ghost thingies, normally I would just like run away from him and just like focus 100% on the prayers, and then if he dropped like the little lava pools under me, like that's when shit would hit the fan. But like eventually like you get to the point where like I can spec, just before the Arus, like the ghosts start hitting me, so I can get extra prayer and not have to use a dose, and then I can like, you can kind of optimize it once you get like really comfortable with all the mechanics, and you can start playing around with it. And like, yeah, that'll happen over time. Takes like a lot longer than you'd expect, but yeah.
Yeah, and I should have mentioned this before, man. I'm horrible at explaining like my memories of the boss fight and trying to give like a rough guide of it. But when he would teleport you, if you just ran south a little bit or ran away from where he teleported you, you're not going to get hit from damage. My problem was the first few times I'm just trying to tank the 50 hit, the damage he was going to hit me with. Yeah. So as soon as he would teleport me, I'd like Shark, Carabrom, and then Brew. as fast as I could to try to like, stack as much health as possible, which just barely helped sometimes. But yeah, it's like you're saying, you learn these little tricks. When he starts to heal himself, you're able to just bust out your crystal halberd and just like
go to town.
Usually, chunk him hard.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty fun fight. It was a little frustrating at the same time. I can kind of understand why not a lot of people are doing it. Mm-hmm. At least that's what it looked like. I was never running into anyone else or any of that issue. But
I feel like the Slayer bosses, except for actually, I don't really know about Sire. You can get some good money from him. But
that's the thing. That's what kind of drew me to it. He has a chance of dropping this thing called an unsired, so it's a 1 out of 100 drop. Which for a boss, that's a pretty.
Yeah, it's a good drop chance.
Yeah, it's a good drop chance for a boss. Anyways, but with that unsired, you would turn that into when you first pop into that area where the 4 hallways are that I mentioned. There's this thing that you can kind of exchange it, like you give it to the person, and then you have a random chance of getting another item. Mm-hmm. And these items are the abyssal head, just kind of shit.
Yeah, it makes your Slayer helmet like black and red.
Right. Yeah. So, and you can also use it for your house. And the reason I just say it's shit is because like, if you already have one, then like it's kind of useless to get another one.
Yeah, like I already have one, and it's kind of like don't need it unless I care about my house, which I don't.
Yeah, exactly. There's that. Then there's also a chance of getting the Abyssal Orphan, which is the pet. Which that's always nice, unless you already have it. Then you can get the Abyssal Dagger, which is worth. Sorry, just looking at which is worth about 6 mil right now. That's what I'm reading on the wiki. It's worth about 6 mil, so that's pretty nice. You have a chance of getting the whip, which is 1.8 mil or something like that. And then you have a chance of getting one of the 3 bludgeon pieces. So bludgeon is when this boss was released, it came out with the new best crush weapon. And the bludgeon's worth like what, 30 mil?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Every time I look at the abyssal weapon prices, they always seem to be like a lot lower than I remember them.
Yeah, well, so the wiki's saying about 30.8 mil, so rounding up 31 mil. So that's nice. Bad. You can get a piece from that. And then you can also get the jar of miasma, which is the jar you can use for your house to give you the,
the pet or the boss thingy.
Yeah,
right?
The boss looking
glass enclosure.
Yeah, for your house, and that's worth about 150K. So that's kind of not very good either. But
the general loot table is pretty nice though. Like compared to like Sire, it seems like every kill you're kind of guaranteed some money. Like if you're not messing up and you're doing like, a good amount, like a average or a normal amount of kills per trip. I don't even know how many kills per trip you would do.
I was doing 1. If I was lucky, 1.5 sometimes.
But if you're doing all the mechanics, fine, right? Like when I first started doing Serb, I would get like 1 or 2, and now I can get 7 easy, like 7, 8 easy.
Yeah, okay.
If I get good food and potion drops, I can, like, most I did was like 15 or 16. So if Sire's like that, like depending on how many, like you can walk out with some profit per trip. Like with Cerberus, sometimes you'd walk out and you would have lost 100K because you're getting unholy symbols and ashes every time.
Right. Yeah, okay.
But you do it for the 20 mil drop. And Sire, you have like those big drops as well, and like a lot of consistent little money drops.
Yeah, so I would get things like the death runes. You get like 300 death runes, or I think it was the 2 rune plate bodies and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of tree seeds on that drop table, I think.
Yeah, a bunch of random things like that. But yeah, you can make some fair money off it. It was an interesting fight, but I got kind of frustrated, and I just feel like with some of my gear, and I'm starting to really feel like I need to get my defense up. Like my defense, I've been holding it off, and it's at 71 right now just because of Guthins and the Crystal Halberd. But
yeah,
it's at 71, and I wanted to keep it low so I could be decent at PKing, have a decent PKing account, and I got 99 strength, and I'm working on attack right now, and it's almost 91. But I have a feeling like I told myself originally once I get 99 attack, I'm going to move on to getting 99 range because I'm at like 87 or something right now. But I have a feeling as soon as I'm done attack, I'm just going to start leveling up my defense and say, fuck it.
Yeah. I mean, I would suggest just getting 90 defense right now.
90 attack and 90 defense?
Yeah, like I did base 90s. I got 90 attack, strength, and defense and range. And, not in that order, but, and then I started focusing on hitting 99, so then I did strength and attack, and I'm pretty close. I have like maybe a mil, maybe less to 99 defense. But, once you hit once you hit the 90 threshold, like you can do like any boss pretty comfortably. I mean, with 70 defense, you can still do the bosses, but you kind of need someone to tank for you.
Yeah, that's what I've been noticing.
Like, I've seen Zerkers killing bandos, but they're also doing trios, you know what I mean? Like, they have two other people, and they have a designated tank who's got, like, a bulwark or DFS or something, right?
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like, I have a lot of fun in the wilderness, but the only problem is, like, I really want to build up my bank a lot. Like, there's a lot of items and gear that I need to buy still that I have just been holding off because, like, I'll get, like, 15 or 20 mil, and I'm like, I'm going to buy, like, 4 whips, and I'm going to go into the wilderness because I'm probably going to lose half of them. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that's just happened 3 or 4 times now with my tentacle whip, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the best thing you can do is max your account and then just kill noobs deep wilderness. Or
yeah, I know. It's just the dream. You know, 10 years ago when I was playing, you wanted that account that was like level 110, but you were taking on 126s at the mage bank. I'm still kind of holding on to those days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, those people who were like a quarterback in high school and they were like the star player on their football team, and then it was all downhill after that.
Now they're like 50-year-old used car salesmen mentioning like, oh, yeah,
I could have been something. It wasn't for my bad knee.
Yeah, I went through the same thing when I first started playing RS. I was like, I'm gonna be a 1 defense pure, and then I accidentally got 2. I'm like, that's fine. I'll be an initiate pure. So I went and like quested up to an initiate pure, and then I was like, oh, initiate pure suck. I'm gonna go Zerker. And then I ended up going Void, and then I went Zerker. And I just slowly kept getting more and more defense, and I went PKing, and it just wasn't fun. I'm like, okay, I'll become a Piety Pure. I'll get like 75 attacks, 70 defense, 70 prayer, and then I'll get like strength, and range 99 with like 90 for mage. And then I was like, I don't know, I had like 90 strength, I think, with 70 attack and 70 defense, and I went PKing, and then I just like fought an AGS pure who just fucking like 2-shotted me, and I just like, alright, PKing sucks, I want to make a pure now. So then I just turned my account into like a main. I stopped fibbing to myself, and
that's where I'm kind of edging towards, because like I can't afford an AGS, especially to bring it to the wilderness. Man, could you imagine if I fucking lost an AGS?
Get some
amount of times I've lost a whip.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm still stuck with the DDS, and like, yeah, I'm getting KO'd by the guys with the AGSs a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I've never regretted turning my main account into my actual main. And like, there's never been once like, oh, I wish I was still a pure. Like, that's never come across my mind. Usually when I see people like complaining that their main account's a pure, it's like, dude, just turn your account to a main. You can do way more fun shit. And most of these people don't even PK that much. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, ideally, you could be grinding bosses or whatever and making a lot of money, or just PKing noobs in the wilderness, but you make a bunch of money, and then you make like an optimal pure. Like, you make an optimal Zerker with like quested, perfectly, keep it low health and cannon to like 90 plus range, and then you start building all the melee. Like, you can do like a lot. You can make a way better pure if you have like, 100 mil to spare. Yeah. As opposed to just having your main that's kind of gimped the whole time. That's my opinion, though.
No, it's I'm starting to come to that realization too, as I'm like starting to do these bosses and shit. I'm like, fuck, I haven't really gone PKing and like legitimately PKing. Like, I'm not talking about PKing rune crafters and stuff. I know I'm a scum, but like Edgeville, a deep PKing, like, it's been a while since I've done that. So I'm starting to be like, shit, these bosses are kicking my asses, and I need to like, I don't know, I need to do something. So, yeah, I'm starting to feel that way a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, there's a few things I want to mention about my week before we move on, though. I done did it. I completed Monkey Madness 2.
Damn, nice.
Oh man, was that pretty frustrating.
How was Glau?
Oh, I died and lost a bunch of items.
Really? Ouch.
I think I just got really unlucky. Well, a little bit of me fucking up, but also being unlucky where I just need to hit like a 10, and I just hit like 4 or 5 zeros in a row, and then he brought me down to like 27 health, and I'm like, oh god, please, just let me hit him. And yeah, he killed me. You know, I lost my dragon boots and stuff like that.
Damn.
So that was good. It's a good time, but got him on the second kill, which, you know, that fight was actually pretty good. That was a pretty intense fight.
Yeah, he's pretty challenging.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. There were some mechanics that seemed like, because like there's a few stages where you're able to kind of trap them. Like there's these hallways, right, with these rooms, and you fight him in this one room, and you can kind of safe spot him through the hallway with ranged. And then he runs to the next room, and there's another hallway, and you can kind of do the same thing again. But you get to the last room, and he like really prevents you from doing that, right? Because he has this spell where he pulls you right up to him.
Yep.
And then if you stand right close to him, he's going to push you against the wall. And able to do a shit ton of damage, but yeah, I was able to get him. But the problem, which nobody warned me, except for a guy in our CC, I'll do a shout out to Traditions, because he went out and got his Monkey Madness 2 quest complete as well. And he had mentioned that there was a part that's just, it drove him mad. And he's like, it's going to drive you mad too. In the fucking ship, the docks, where you have to like, I don't know how you would explain this, but you get seen by the ninja monkeys and they're going to send you back to the very beginning.
Yeah, it's like Splinter Cell. You have to like sneak around all the crates and get the satchel charges and plant them on the things and blow them up. Yeah, I don't know. That was a bitch for me too.
Oh god, was that frustrating.
Yeah, eventually I ran out of stam potions, so I had to stop and let my energy regenerate.
Oh, no way.
And some dude, because I probably took like an hour to do that part. Just because I get so impatient. And thankfully some dude ended up like coming across me. I came across some dude, and he was like, oh yeah, here, take a couple of mine. And he just gave me some and finished it while I sat there for another 30 minutes, like struggling. Yeah, it's kind of a bitch.
It is a pain in the ass because it's like a long, basically a maze, like a 3-floored maze where you have to like, you run up and there's like this ninja monkey, and then you have to like, you know, go around this box and hide in this like little corridor almost while he walks past, and you have to walk. And then it's just frustrating because they've made it as difficult as possible, which it's frustrating. But a little tip for if you haven't done it yet, just remember this for when you decide to do Monkey Madness 2. Look up how to do the corner tricking or corner stepping. I don't know what term you want to use to call it, but you know, I was following Slayer Music's guide, and this is something he didn't mention. And then I found out about it after like the third time of me getting sent to the very beginning of the little maze thingy. Do you know what I'm referring to when I'm talking about this?
No clue.
Okay, so when there's a corner and like the monkey is walking around the corner, if you stand on one side of the corner while he's at the other corner, when he's on that tile, you can click on him and you'll walk over him and he won't even notice you.
Oh, really?
It's like corner tricking, like similar to when you're in the rogue's den and there's a trap and you can kind of click on the tile right before it and then click on the tile right after it and you'll skip the trap.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's similar to that. So that helped it a lot, but at the same time, that's also like that causes you to be more impatient because then you start rushing it by doing these corner tricking every time, and every now and then you'll just mess up because it's just you know, naturally. But yeah, I completed that, and then the reason I completed was because I got a Black Demon Slayer task, and I decided I told myself that when I was going to get that task, then I'll do the quest so that I can kill the demonic gorillas. And yeah, so I went there afterwards and killed the demonic gorillas, which is, you know, it's like a mini boss fight in itself.
Yeah.
So it's that's pretty cool. If you don't know, it's these monsters that they have like a protect from combat prayers that they kind of like overheads. They protect from combat overheads that they put up. And it's based on what you're currently using. And when you do 50 damage of whatever style you're using, they'll put up the protect from melee or protect from range. So almost everyone's doing range and melee, and they're switching back and forth. So you're just doing that. But also they're attacking with all 3 different styles of combat. And you're having to like kind of guess what they're going to be using next and stuff like that. So there's some mechanics involved, and it kind of made the fights a little bit more interesting. And yeah, they got a decent drop table too. So I was doing that. That was more satisfying because I would go in, I'd get like 2 kills per trip, and then I get 4 kills per trip, and then I was getting like 15 kills per trip, right?
Yeah.
So I was actually noticing some progress in myself, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. And that was basically my week right there. A lot of little things in between, like rune crafting and shit like that, because yeah, a bunch of that. I just feel like I really want to rush my combat stats and get it ready for when things like Dragon Slayer 2 comes out, so I can do it on day 1. You know, it'd suck for Dragon Slayer 2 to come out. It's like, oh, you need 90 defense. And you're like, oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I guess I'll wait a week. Or way longer than that, right?
Yeah.
It'd be nice to be able to actually jump on day 1, similar to when Monkey Madness 2 came out, because I can't imagine when the people were having to figure all this shit out on their own.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was watching everybody do it on the subreddit and stuff like that. There was like a clan chat that everybody was using to kind of like, hey, how do I do this? How do you do this? Where do you find this item? How do you do this? And it's just like, oh, people were kind of trading information with each other. So that was always fun to see, and it seemed really difficult. Like it took like all day until it was finally completed by someone, it seemed like.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to be able to participate on that when Dragon Slayer 2 comes out. Nice or frustrating, probably both. But you can say you were there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those are my goals in RuneScape right now. Getting that combat up, getting ready for Theater of Blood, getting ready for some of the stuff they mentioned on RuneFest.
Yeah, should we move on to the news, or?
Yep, I think it's time. Let's go into the news. Let's see what Jagex has in store for us this week.
Yeah, so not too much happened this week. They just mentioned about the Dragon Slayer 2 poll and whatnot. But they did some volcanic mine improvements. And so these are some of the changes. If the volcanic mine is like stable, or like more stable than normal, I guess, the meteorites and the earthquakes will be much lower. You can unlock the upgraded version of Fertile Spell on the Luna Spellbook for 40,000 points. And you'll need Volcanic Ash as well as the runes to cast it. And if you don't have the ashes, then you'll just use the normal Fertile Spell or Soil Spell.
Cool.
You can purchase a heat-proof vessel container capacity upgrade for 10,000 points from Petrified Peat.
Cool.
They changed the way fragments are given in the volcanic mine, so there's a more emphasis placed on mining during the earlier stages of the rock. Because people would just like AFK to the final stage, right?
Yeah.
As usual. They've substantially like upped the chance of obtaining a fossil while mining the boulders in the mine. And mining a boulder to the whirlpool in the volcanic mine will now award players with 100 points. They've buffed the experience by 10%, and they reduced the items by 30% within the mine. So
cool.
Yeah. And it's customer support week. So yeah, not much to say about that. Besides, if you have a pin and an authenticator on your account, you get 16 total extra bank space, 8 per. So
fuck yeah, this applies to both members and non-members.
Yeah, so get a pin, get an authenticator. You know,
yeah,
easy.
You should already have that, to be honest.
Yeah,
but now it's more incentive.
If you don't have it, what will cause you to get it is a hack scare.
Oh
you
yeah,
you might be hacked. And you're like, all right, that's when I did both my shit, right?
I remember you had a story sometime last year about some guy who was able to pull all your information off some site or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So make sure keep your account secure, obviously, but set a PIN and authenticator. During October 4th, they'll have like a little quiz with the Jagex mods or something like that. And they'll just have a little quiz about, I guess, account security or something like that. Who knows?
Oh god, we're going to see some Jagex mods getting fired that day.
Yeah. And it's a make all update. So, the progress update, I should say.
Yeah, so similar to what we've been talking about with mobile, where they're just talking about their interface, their plans with it, and the problems.
Kind of clickbaited you guys, but yeah, they just kind of show what it looks like. It looks really clean.
I like it.
Yeah, so an example would be like they change what would you like to smelt, and it's just in your chat box, and it has like bronze, blurite, iron, all that stuff all on the bottom up to rune. And then you can do 1 through 9 to choose which one. And then you can do like an all button. There's an all button in the top right. So it's really nice. Right click, there's a smith all while you're smithing now, just under, well, not now, but there will be under the smith X.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with like making the tuna potato with cheese or whatever, like melting the butter and all that stuff, or getting the butter.
Yeah.
That'll be a lot more convenient. Yeah. And
people who's out there melting butter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Yeah. They changed the way the points for unlocking the barrier in the tightrope room for Chamber of Zarek, but they don't really specify.
Okay.
And yeah, they kind of cleaned up the cave network within Monkey Madness 2, so good timing, right? Just as you finish it. They they take out some unnecessary push tiles just to kind of make it more convenient when you're in there.
Oh, nice. That's nice of them.
Yeah, and you can roll hoop snakes outside of Fossil Island, so
which is one of the biggest updates that we're seeing.
Yeah, huge.
So you can go and mess around with that shit.
Yeah, but that's it for the updates.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like the make all, and you can tell that that's an issue that they probably had when they were making mobile. They're just like, it's going to be too hard to click on the text.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to have these buttons making it just look a lot nicer. And it just looks more legit, right?
Yep. Dude, I still remember when they created the cooking interface. I remember logging in on RuneScape like, what?
Holy shit. You just blew my fucking mind. I forgot that it wasn't a thing at one point.
Yeah, I remember being a free-to-play noob. I remember being at Barbarian Village, and what my epic training method was is I'd go to people like fly fishing and say, can I have some food? And they'd give me some raw food, and I would go and cook it, and I would do that until I have a full inventory of food. And then I would go all the way down, kill like 2 hill giants, run out of food, go back up and do that. And then eventually I started fishing my own food for the experience, and I spent a lot of time like
the nostalgia's
kicking
in. How did it work? Was it like you had to click it like one at a time?
From what I remember, it was like click, 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 click. Like it was
similar to stringing bowstring.
Yeah.
On your bow, on bows.
Yeah, like back in the day when you were stringing, you would bring one thing down, right? You would click back and forth really quickly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It'd be like fletching darts. That's how you used to make bows. Yeah. They've changed it a lot, and it's gonna be like a year from now. Holy shit! Remember when there's no make all option on like smithing, anything smithing related? Because I hate having to like right click X and then I just slap the shit out of my like numbers. I just like palm my keyboard and hit enter.
Yeah.
It's really annoying. I do that over and over.
Wow, that's you just made me remember when I used to be in Karamja. I don't know if I was a members or a non-members. I was probably a non-member, but I would fish lobsters on the deck, get a full load of lobsters, cook it, go kill some lesser demons.
Yep,
run out of inventory.
I'd kill like one, be out of food, and almost dead.
Yeah,
and I'd spend like the rest of the night cooking and healing myself up,
hoping that a river troll wasn't going to spawn and kill you.
Yeah. Oh fuck! Man. I lost my lobster pot. Man, that shit was the worst.
Oh wow! What a blast from the past. Man, this game has come far.
Oh yeah.
It was only like it seems like a year ago when you couldn't play full screen with RuneScape.
That was the one thing. Like I remember being like, oh shit, you can resize RuneScape now. My one buddy played for a while and didn't even know that was a thing, and he was just like, dude, I didn't know you could do that. It's like, what?
And there's tons of people who don't do that because they like the old school small screen, which I personally can't really understand. I'm stuck playing on a full screen.
Mm-hmm.
I could never imagine going back. Wow. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we move on to talk about kind of the dead man mode from last week. They kind of covered it in the Q&A. They also talked a little bit about the Theater of Blood, which
gonna be dope.
Yeah, delved more into the rooms. I don't want to say rooms plural, but they were talking about the key room, and they kind of explained a bit more what it's going to be like. And it sounds pretty interesting. So we talked about it before, where there's going to be a key that you're going to need to bring somewhere, but you're going to have to choose somebody to carry it. It's going to be two-handed, and you're going to have to walk with it.
Yeah,
you can't run, but also at the same time, from what it sounds like, it's going to drain your energy while you're walking, and then when you're at 0 energy, you're going to drop the key, or you're going to have to give the key to someone else because maybe you can't move anymore.
Okay.
So you'll have to pass it along. And while this is happening, it seems like you're going to have to walk through areas where, like, you'll be getting attacked by people on the sides. And it's going to be like a tanking section.
That's pretty sweet.
Or maybe there's going to be mobs attacking the guy with the key. Like, the key is going to aggro them all. And your teammates are going to have to protect you somehow.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So, what are your thoughts on that? Like, that's all I remember them talking about with it. They didn't dive too much into any other rooms or anything like that. They just kind of gave a little bit more detail because people were asking about it. What do you think? Sounds pretty cool.
I think that is super awesome. I like Chamber of Zarek. I've complained about it a lot, and it sounds like with this new raid that they're kind of thinking of doing, it's kind of like what I want to hear. Like with the whole key thing, like the whole those little mechanics that force teamwork and stuff. It's like, I don't know. I'm pretty excited. I think it's sweet. I'm really excited to find out more about it and when they start releasing more info.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. Now, since you mentioned Chambers of Zarek, I remember when they were first talking about it, I had some ideas that were completely different from what was actually released. And I was thinking about it. Some of the ideas of what I thought was going to come out with it, I'm kind of hoping does come out in maybe Raids 3. Yeah, I'm thinking like fucking years in the future here. But I remember they were talking about a skilling section and stuff like that, or skilling being part of the raid itself. I was expecting there were going to be parts where a boss was going to spawn and there was going to have like trees pop up that were going to like maybe heal the boss, and you're going to have dedicated woodcutters. Or dedicated miners that are going to have to take out the trees.
Yeah, with like the Mutadial room, the boss, you do have to like cut a meat tree and shit, but I know exactly what you mean, because I remember us talking about like, oh, it'd be cool if some boss would petrify someone and everyone has to like mine them out, like bust out their pickaxes. Like we talked about that stuff for a while,
or you could have somebody who had lower combat stats, but they had like 99 mining and 99 woodcutting. And you're like, hey man, your specific job is to woodcut when the fucking healing trees pop up, or woodcut when the damage over time rocks pop up that are going to burn us. That's your job, is to prevent us from taking. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean though.
At the same time, I'm really excited for this because this sounds really cool. I'm only going off the one room they actually mentioned, but I'm pretty excited for this. It looks like it's going to be pretty good. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought you guys might be interested as well. And that being said, shall we talk about the Dead Man Moan controversy?
Yeah, I think it's time. Let's get into it. So, yeah, they talked a bit about it on the Q&A. And we mentioned it on our last podcast, all the allegations and stuff like that. And they even discussed targeted DDoSing, like UK, whatever. They talked about the allegation of staff favoritism and the game mechanics and unfair disqualifications, blah, 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 blah. And so what they're doing right now is they're still like making a decision, from my understanding. They haven't come forth with exactly what's going on, like 100% what's going on with the prize money, but the whole team made a decision that the last survivor is disqualified.
They just didn't like him.
Yeah, he was he's kind of a bitch. No, but
imagine.
He there's a lot of evidence and they've investigated him, blah 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 blah. But he was pretty much responsible for a big bot farm within Deadman mode, which a lot of people have complained about, is the botting issues. And so they kind of found this guy has a big old bot farm, and so all the accounts have been banned, and
meaned him as well.
So regardless if he was DDoSing or not, he did have a bot farm going, which was giving him an unfair advantage. And he was also probably making so much real life money The amount, like, the swap rates in Deadman mode is, like, ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I think right now it's 1 to 10. So 10 mil old school RuneScape will get you 1 mil in Deadman mode. And there's a ton of people who only play Deadman mode to swap and like maybe make money in old school RuneScape.
Yeah. And think of like last day of the finals, right? Brews go for like over 100K sometimes.
True.
Like you're gonna be spending old school to like, fuck, I need brews for this final. I have none. But yeah, anyways. So they banned him and all of his accounts, and they don't know what to do with the prize pool. So they're gonna be giving it to us. No, they're gonna they're discussing on like giving it to charity, adding it to the next Deadman mode, or dispersing it among the other finalists.
Yeah, the other 3.
Yeah. So or just maybe a little combination of all of them. They're not too sure. They'll probably, I would not be surprised if they just carried it over to the next one. But yeah,
that's a hard one, you know?
Yeah. Cause
I would love to hear about how the other 3 players are feeling about this.
Yeah, cause I feel if they cop out and kind of donate it to a charity, then a lot of people will be like, oh, what happens if, I don't want to just give away my prize money. Cause like those 2 people, they all probably feel a little entitled to the money.
Yeah.
Some more than others. And, I mean, you could split it up 3 ways and,
or maybe even just giving them 1,000 each. I'm sure they'd be more than happy with that, and then donate the rest. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Right? Yeah. So they're not too sure. There's a lot of options. So they're kind of figuring it out. And,
let's be real. They're not going to say anything about this for the next couple months until everyone forgets.
Yeah. Until we get the daily reminder, Jagex didn't do anything with the prize pool.
Yeah.
That post. No, but they'll come up with something soon, especially before the next invitational, because that, people still say Wooks won. You know what I mean? Like, people don't really forget in this community. So.
Never forget. So yeah, that's the thing. And you don't want to go into the next Deadman mode being like, fucking Jagex scammed everyone.
Yeah.
But no, I'm sure they're going to figure something out. It seems like they genuinely care about, you know what I mean? Like the integrity of it all. And when
they mention about, the game mechanics, like game breaking mechanics or broken game mechanics, I think one of the streamers had this issue, but a lot of people have this issue, and there's a lot of people in a certain small area. Some people just can't eat. Something happens. The game just kind of takes a big old dump, and they can't eat, and then you just slowly die. And like that would easily make me toss my monitor out the window.
Yeah, and you got to think too. If 2,000 people are in the tournament, that's a full capacity world.
Yeah,
the worlds can't go over that amount of players, right?
And in the final hour, I mean, the numbers will definitely have dwindled quite a bit, but there's still going to be like probably 1,000 players, in a small area. And like it always happens to people, but if you watch, like, some people just like, man, that would get me so mad. Not even the fact that like, okay, I didn't get $10,000 because it's kind of a stretch to assume you'd win. But like the amount of time you put in during the season to get into the invitational, and then the amount of time you put into the invitational just to lose because the game can't handle what the game is doing right now. And so
that week you can't have a job or you can't be at school. You have to like book that time off.
Yeah, if you're
I'm assuming.
Yeah, if you're going for the 10,000. A lot of people do play casually and just have fun with it. And you can tell there's like level 40s walking around and there's like level 110s.
Full Addy.
Yeah. But so they are going to like, they're looking into engine work as always, but they're gonna try and figure out a way to get around this and make sure that doesn't happen, because obviously that's demoralizing. And they're working with the player support team to like produce an extensive guide to protect your IP and avoid DDoSing. And they're also looking into ways to stop botting, muling, boxing, etc. And like the one thing that honestly kills Deadman mode for me is the muling. Like, honestly, you want to
explain what that is real quickly for people who might not know?
Muling is having multiple accounts within Deadman mode, and the mule is like what you'd assume. You'd have all the items that you want to keep on that account, and then you have like your main account where you're PKing and doing quests. And all you do is you give him the supplies to just fight. There's food and just armor he's wearing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, honestly, every single person I've ever killed in Deadman mode, I've probably killed like 30 people. They've all been mules. Like every single one of them has been mules. I remember keeping track of a dude fishing for like 3 hours over the course of the day. Cause this was like 2 years ago or maybe a year ago, last summer, during the last summer seasonal.
Yeah,
I wasn't working at this point. I had like 2 weeks just to like do whatever the fuck I wanted. So I just was like playing for like 18 hours a day. I did that for like 3 or 4 days and I just got sick of it because everybody was like muling. I remember getting 5 keys and being like, wow, I made 300 GP. This guy was fishing, all day and he had like just his lobsters on him. Obviously he's muling. And like, I hate to say it, but YouTubers mule too. Like I don't know about streamers. Like I know like people like Bodhi are pretty honest.
Yeah.
He's a pretty honest player just in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like I won't name specifics, but because I do watch certain YouTubers when they release. This is what I did this is my day one of the Deadman mode, right?
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
watching that, and almost all of them, some of them try really, really hard to hide it, but like they get caught pretty easily. And even worse is when they die to someone, and then that person says, "Hey, I killed him. This is what his bank was," and there's nothing in it. But they like most of them mule, like 99% of them mule, and it just really kills the integrity of the game because they do monitor mule accounts, but they monitor accounts that literally just stand at a bank and just take items and do nothing. Yeah. So what people do to get around it is by having a quote unquote flipping or merching account where they just buy and sell shit over and over and over again. Obviously they're merching, they're trying to make money. They're not just going to be losing money on purpose, but like they're just merching, but with all their good shit on them. And like, so people find ways to get around muling, and it does kind of ruin it. So hopefully they'll get rid of that and the botting and the boxing. But I mean, they address the issues and they're pretty aware. So hopefully it'll just get better.
Yeah, and from what we've seen every season so far, whether it's the tournament or just the season itself, they've always made big improvements, lots of tweaks to kind of make it better for just the average Joe out there who wants to play, you know?
Yeah.
It's great. So, you know, give it another couple years and man, we'll have the game mode we're looking for.
Yeah. 3-4 years from now, oh my god, Deadman mode will be sick.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's nice. That's fine and dandy.
Yeah, that's about it. Is there anything else we gotta talk about?
I'm trying to think.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I guess it was a bit of a slow week because, you know, with RuneFest, they dropped so much shit on us.
Yeah.
You know, they can't really,
They can't be, you know, hitting home runs every week.
Yeah, so this was a little bit of a slower week, but... Man, I always think it's amazing, though, how we always have something to talk about, though, just with... you know, you don't get this with any other games where every week they have all these changes and
I think the big thing is, not many games, the main developers actually play it.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's such a big factor in why, like, RuneScape... Like, people shit on the mods all the time. And I probably do from time to time, but in general, like, man, we are lucky. Like, look at the issues that, like, WoW players have, or...
You think you do, but you don't.
Yeah, right? Where people ask legitimate questions and they get mocked at BlizzCon. They get mocked in front of, like, thousands and thousands of people, where it's like...
Yeah.
Shit, Jax would never do that.
That's a reference to... There was a private server for World of Warcraft that was basically vanilla WoW, so the World of Warcraft Oldschool, and it was on a private server, and people it got shut down. It had like 1 million players. You were even playing it, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so tons of people saying it was great, and I know my favorite time in World of Warcraft was personally Burning Crusade, but still, right? It's still kind of the old school era.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, people were asking them, and then I don't know if it was at BlizzCon, but it was at some interview, and the developer says, "You think you want this, but you don't."
Yeah, it was like the Q&A for BlizzCon. Somebody asked, you know, will they ever have, like, legacy, like, pretty much old school RuneScape, but WoW, right? Old school WoW.
Yeah, which is really stupid to say. I mean, I know WoW is a different game, but, like, literally, you could just look at RuneScape. Mm-hmm. They did that, and it's bigger and badder than ever. Like, badass, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I saw a post on the Reddit being like, hey, I'm an old WoW player, and I just came over to RuneScape, and this game is like, the devs are like no other. And yeah, it's just like you say, like, yeah, sometimes we'll shit on the devs a bit, but it's all just, you know, all fun and games, right?
Well, the whole anti-gay thing, there's some shit that the community does step the line quite a bit, but...
Oh, yeah, that's the thing, like...
Yeah.
So it's good to not take for granted the good devs that we actually have, because like you said, they actually play this game when they get home. I always, you know, I listen to the Q&As and you hear Mod Archie talk about how much he likes to go home and go PKing. Mm-hmm. You're just like, fuck, like, you work at Jagex all day, and then you come home and you jump back on and start playing RuneScape. You know what I mean? It's nice. You know what I mean? It's good.
Yep.
But yeah, that was a little off topic. But I guess is that all we have to talk about, really?
I think so. There's not much. I think that's it.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, as you guys know, for the past, 4 episodes now, we've been talking about this little giveaway, our little survey we have up, because we want to improve the show and all this stuff, and do maybe some changes, and hear what you guys think, and what you guys want to hear, and what you guys don't want to hear, and yeah, so this is the closing of that little giveaway, little competition, the little the podcast and review, I suppose. Mm-hmm. And we've got quite a bit of feedback. So thanks to everyone who actually wrote us out there. We've read it all, and we really greatly appreciate it.
We're not going to take any of your advice, though, because we know better.
Yeah, we were, yeah. You think you want it, but you don't. No, but yeah, we're definitely going to discuss and see what we can think about adding to the show. We've things about having, a suggestion of the week, because we're constantly seeing people suggest, you know, updates or their ideas for changes and stuff. And some of them are really good. You know, there's a user on Reddit called Gentle Tractor, and if you just click on his profile and you look at some of the posts he made and the updates he came out with, it looks like he works for Jagex, because some of them got directly copy and pasted into the game. Mm-hmm. Neve's Cave, almost all of it was his idea. Like the destruction of Neve's Cave and splitting up all these new dungeons.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about the farming guild and the farming update. That was something he posted a couple weeks ago. Basically, most of it was all of his idea, right?
Yeah.
And as well as the Zaya rework. So things like that. Things about going through and talking about some of the suggestions that people talk about, and things like going over some boss fights or the skills, given, you know, a mini guide, as you will, maybe. Mm-hmm. Having maybe a lore segment where we talk about maybe some of the storylines in RuneScape, because there's actually a ton, and not a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it before where, I can't remember what this post was, but somebody was talking about the timeline of RuneScape and RuneScape 3, so OSRS and RuneScape 3, and yeah, they have a whole timeline where RuneScape 3 is in another age where they're in maybe a couple hundred years ahead of us, and we're in the past. And then you have armor the third age, where we all know third age armor, but you don't really know much about it. If you look it up, you'll see that it was during a time where a lot of artifacts and a lot of just pieces of that age just vanished and disappeared and was destroyed and not able to be recovered. And that was the third age, is basically the God Wars era, where all the gods were fighting amongst each other. And the God Wars dungeon itself is the aftermath of it. So that's a very small little taste of what was going on back then. Mm-hmm. A lot of things like that. So that's really cool. Thinking about bringing in a lore segment, and then what was the other one? And then even had some people mentioning, you know, the history of some old school RuneScape stuff, or maybe not old school RuneScape, but RuneScape, you know, things like maybe going over the Falador Massacre, or going over when Slayer skill was released, because that was a huge game changer. You know, maybe talking about the very first person to ever get a 99 in the history of all of RuneScape and what that did to the game, right? Stuff like that. Kind of yeah, I don't know. And even we might even try to have interviews with streamers or YouTubers or other people in the community if we can. We've done one in the past with another podcaster for the podcast Ironscape, and we might continue doing stuff like that. It's a little hard and a little tough to manage sometimes, but it's something that we definitely might start introducing and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
And another one that was mentioned was, if you guys are a long-term listener of the show, you know when we first started, we were doing these the Iron Man competitions, which was kind of like when we first started the podcast, that was kind of my idea for like the basis of the podcast, was having these Iron Man challenges. But and we eventually had to just kind of stop them because, life gets busy and we can't always dedicate, like Deagin, he's been pretty busy this month with school and stuff like that. So we wouldn't be able to do these Iron Man things, these challenges where we made an Iron Man. We had a challenge that week. We play for 5 hours and see where we got. Yeah. Sometimes we just can't do that, right?
We can bring it back. We just have to have like a better, like a plan that makes it more consistent. Cause like the 5 hours time commitment is good, but eventually, like,
it wants to be fun, right? It can't be a chore for us where we're like, fuck, I gotta pull an all-nighter tonight because I gotta get my 5 hours of Iron Man in. So that was something I really did like, and I would love to bring it back, and hopefully, I still have all the footage of when we were doing that because we wanted to release YouTube videos with it. It's just that we just get so busy sometimes, and even with this podcast, it takes a bit of work, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we're not able to, I guess we're being a little too ambitious with some of the stuff, and you get a little overwhelmed with things. But, we're definitely thinking about maybe doing some type of, I don't know, something like that. Maybe not that specifically, but something like that. Something that we could actually manage. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, suggestions are always helpful too,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and,
yeah, so we have a lot of things we're discussing right now just to kind of improve the podcast. I still have to get better equipment. My mic is kind of, shit.
It's not bad. It could be worse.
I mean, I have to hold it while we do podcasts because sometimes it tips over randomly because the stand is like really unstable.
True. Yeah. Okay.
So that's probably why sometimes my mouth, like my voice sounds like I don't know, like it kind of just like changes in volume and like acoustic, I guess, if that makes any sense. Because it's just my arm will get sore and I'll like notice I'm like holding the mic down in a shitty position.
Yeah.
But like little things like just improving like sound quality and coming up with some consistent like segments, I guess.
Yeah, we both you have school, I have a full-time job. You know what I mean? So something that we could realistically do. And, when we first started this podcast, we basically I think back about it now, we went in blind almost.
It was kind of like impulsive. We were just like, you want to do a podcast? Yeah. What kind? I don't know. And like a month later, you're just like, dude, we should do a Runescape podcast. Like, oh my god, I'm down. And then we just started recording.
Yeah, we would Google, how do you record a podcast? Yeah. Download some free program. And then you'd how do you put it on? You know what I mean? Literally
we were supposed to have a third person. We were supposed to have another person with us this whole time, but he ended up
staked his soul away.
Yeah, he went to the sand casino and never came back.
Yeah, one day though, he went to go get cigarettes and he's going to be back one day.
Yeah, soon. We're waiting. But yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, thanks a lot to everyone out there who wrote in and the people. So I guess I'll run through the names quickly and you guys can be expecting a bond to show up and or us to reach out to you, or reach out to us as well and we can get that bond to you. Again, thanks to everyone writing out there. We really appreciate it. Thanks for anyone listening and stuff like that. Yeah, if you hear your name, you can expect a bond coming your way. So that's 6MVP11, Big Business, Kevlar Fedora, Paragoran, BTW Bob, Moo Joyce Boy, Little Boy, Batty Pew Pew, Road Arch, Long Haul Paul, and Jesus. Whatever. So, guys, thanks a lot for writing in and giving us your suggestions and stuff like that. We really, really appreciate it. And we guys can get you out. We will get you that bond out there to show you how much we appreciate everything. And again, even if you didn't write in, we appreciate you guys just listening.
Yeah.
And is there any more that we should talk about? Is that about it? We're gonna start bringing in these segments probably in the next week or something like that. I'm gonna. So for next episode, or maybe the next couple episodes, we're going to start phasing in some of the segments that you guys had mentioned. We're going to start bringing them in. Think of it as when they released Zaya. It all didn't come out at once. Kind of slowly added things in here and there. But we'll try. We'll hopefully get it all out together. But we'll just have to see how much of an undertaking that actually is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, that being said, your feedback is always welcome. Keep them coming. Or if you have anything you guys want to mention, questions or funny stories or whatever it is, just write us in, and there's a couple ways you guys can do that. So, you guys want to do that on Twitter, you can find us at The Wilderness RS. Our Facebook is facebook.com/thewildernesspodcast. Our email is thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com. Our in-game clan chat is WildCC, and we also have a Discord that, if you're interested in joining, we'll get that link out to you. Just ask us on any of the previous things we just mentioned. Oh no, we missing anything?
I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. How's your week looking next week? Anything exciting going on? Anything you're looking forward to?
Really busy with school, so I have to pull an all-nighter at some point, I think.
Nice.
As usual.
It's a good time.
Yeah, a lot of it's just because I can't. If I leave a lot of work to the weekend, I don't do it.
Yeah.
So I find I end up just like, for some reason, it'll just be like, all right, it's Thursday, I have shit due on Wednesday. I can just stay up all night tonight and get it done. I have like 2 hours of class on Friday, so I can get through that. Okay, I'm just gonna, I do weird shit like that. I mean, I probably shouldn't be pulling all these all-nighters, but
yeah, I remember doing that a few times, and
I should.
When I was in college, it smelled good.
Yeah, I mean, this week is gonna be pretty heavy. So a lot of school. I'm gonna try and get on RS and like actually do something instead of just like waiting for my buddies to kind of catch up. But other than that, everything's kind of open to change.
Yeah, subject to change. I feel you there. Yeah, basically same story with me. I'm probably gonna be slaying away as normal. I jump on, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck do I want to do. There's some diaries I want to do and stuff like that, but I just feel super motivated just to get that combat up for some reason.
Yeah, you gotta keep on grinding it.
Yeah, like I mentioned, I want when Theater of Blood to come up, I want to be able to pop right in the same day. Maybe we can get a group together in the clan or something, or not the clan, but some of you guys in the CC or Discord. Maybe we can go in together. 'Cause remember, I wanted to do that with Chambers of Zarek, and I did go in, but fuck, I was not able to do anything.
Yeah.
I was getting like killed in the first room. So that was a fun time.
Yeah. All right, shall we wrap her up?
Yeah, let's wrap her up. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for listening, guys. And yeah, I don't know. I guess tune in next week for another episode.
Yeah.
All right. Catch you later then.
Yeah, have a good one.
Later, Gators.